Welcome to the show, everybody. Former President Obama is not taking kindly to the new, very obvious, distractive conspiracy theory coming out of the White House. Just to catch you up on this, in the midst of the Epstein fiasco and the tariff failure and everything else that's going on with Donald Trump, in the midst of all of this, in the midst of MAGA ripping itself apart over the Epstein non-disclosure that's taken place to date, Donald Trump's administration, through Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, has weaponized the new conspiracy theory, and they are setting their sights on former President Barack Obama. The claim, made amidst confusion over what even the facts are, is that Barack Obama organized a seditious and traitorous plan to hurt Donald Trump by falsely connecting him to Russia during the 2016 election. Donald Trump also now claiming that Barack Obama rigged the 2020 election, despite the fact that Obama was not president at the time. Trump was president, and somehow the former President Obama was able to rig the 2020 election against the sitting president, Donald Trump.
Obama.
Yeah. Obama. So in response to this, and normally, listen, Barack Obama has been relatively quiet as a former president. And in general, you don't tend to see former presidents weigh in actively on the day-to-day of what's going on in an administration, other than Donald Trump when Biden was president. Well, Barack Obama has now put out a statement. Obama's office putting out the following statement, quote, "Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the Bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee, led by then Chair Marco Rubio." We have to understand really three different things. Most superficially, this is an attempt to distract from the growing scandal within the Trump administration. And one of the best ways to at least try to get MAGA united, because MAGA is very divided right now, as divided as we've seen it. In my conversation last week with Heather Cox Richardson, even she spoke about it with her perspective as a historian, or even as an historian, about how she's surprised at the degree to which the Epstein fiasco has divided MAGA. Now, yesterday I did a Substack Live with Missouri activist Jess Piper. And Jess brought up a good point, which is the Epstein scandal doesn't get anyone in rural Missouri health care. The Epstein scandal doesn't help someone who can't put food on their table to do it. But if we believe that MAGA has bad policies and MAGA being hurt grows the opportunity to put in place someone who's actually going to help the American people, indeed, the Epstein scandal is something worthy of exploitation. The way that the Trump administration has decided to push back against this is with this just wacky conspiracy putting Obama at the center of some completely harebrained plan to publish false claims about Russia's involvement in the 2016 election. So layer number one, this is a very poorly crafted attempt at distraction. Number two, the entire distractive attempt is based upon a not really subtle, but potentially confusing distinction. What Tulsi Gabbard is looking to make you believe and looking to make MAGA believe is that what President Obama did was put in place everything from the Steele dossier to unproven claims that Trump and Putin were colluding in some active way to get Trump elected. That is not what Barack Obama did as president. What Barack Obama did as president was to direct intelligence agencies to look at what sort of influence, if any, Russia is trying to have over American elections, and to what degree their technical capabilities would allow Russia, for example, to manipulate votes, literally on a technical level. To, if Hillary Clinton won Connecticut, would they have the technical capabilities to tap out on their keyboards and to make it seem as though Donald Trump won in Connecticut, a capability that Russia was assessed not to have? These are two completely different things. This is sort of like when Trump said, Obama spied on my campaign. And what happened was that law enforcement under Obama was surveilling persons of interest. Those persons of interest were in touch with the Trump campaign. And so the Trump campaign counterparts were incidentally surveilled, not because Obama was spying on Trump's campaign, but because Trump campaign staffers happened to be having phone communications with individuals separately considered persons of interest or suspects in crimes by federal law enforcement at the time. So the problem with a lot of what's going on is that there are little kernels that overlap, sometimes coincidentally, with the truth. But as presented by Tulsi Gabbard, this entire Obama thing is a complete and total distraction. We're going to get back to it later, as Donald Trump is now openly calling for the prosecution of former President Barack Obama. People in my audience know I am a bit of a pastry connoisseur. Our sponsor, Wild Grain, is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wild Grain's boxes are customizable depending on what you like and prefer. They've got their classic variety box. They've launched the new gluten-free box. They have a plant-based box that's 100% vegan. And it just takes the hassle out of baking, because all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less, nothing to clean up. My experience has been awesome. I love the croissants. I was having people over last week, half an hour before, preheat and throw them in the oven, and people love it. Definitely, the croissants are my favorite. The quality and the freshness of the items is extraordinary, and it is just so convenient. Go to wildgrain.com/Pacman to start your subscription and get $30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every box every month. The link is in the description.